Brittany, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me a little bit about Teddy.
So Teddy is a 3-year-old little boy. He turned 3 in July, and he is so happy, so loving, energetic, just the sweetest little boy.
And what is Teddy's diagnosis?
Teddy has GABRA1 genetic disorder.
And what symptoms come with that?
So far, the symptoms that he has presented are global developmental delays. So while he's 3, he's actually about like 1.5, and strabismus of the eyes, both eyes for him, which is crossing of the eyes. So he's already had one surgery to correct that. I think he's on the cusp of needing another surgery. The patching just isn't working for him. And seizures, right now he's having between 12 and 20 a day. It's my understanding with this community and with the researchers and his neurologists located at MUSC in Charleston that you really need to find the right cocktail to, correct this. And the expectation that they've given us, his neurologists, is basically you may not have total seizure freedom, but if you can reduce them by 50% or more, then that's kind of the goal. So I'm glad that they set that expectation. But currently, we're still trial and erroring medication. And as you know, when you try medication, there are side effects to that. So weighing the risk reward there as well, because you don't, a child, especially these types of medications that affect your brain and alter your brain, can change your personality. And you don't know what type of long-term side effects or damage that you're doing. So it's a constant struggle there.
And when was Teddy first diagnosed?
Teddy was first diagnosed in May of 2024. So he was almost 2 years old when he got the diagnosis.
And what sort of symptoms were you seeing at the time that led to you asking questions, seeking a diagnosis?
Yeah, I'm so grateful for his teacher at the school that he was attending, daycare school. She noticed that he was delayed. And so she pulled me aside and had that difficult conversation, because no parent wants to hear that their child is different than other children. And she pulled me aside and said, hey, I really think that Teddy could benefit from some therapy and from some early intervention. And I was like, I don't even know what this is. And which started us down this path. And Teddy was conceived through IVF. And with that, we genetically tested his embryo, and everything came back normal. Granted, they checked for the top 200-300 diseases, not something as rare as GABRA1. So, I was like, no, I don't think we need to do genetic testing again. I think we're good there. Well, it kept coming up with different people, different therapists and his early interventionists. Have you thought about a genetic test? And I was like, you know what? At this point, let's just do it and just check that box. And it took, I don't know, 5 or 6 months for it to come back. I think we did it in January of 2024. And then the genetic test came back in May, and they called me. It was Greenwood Genetics in Columbia. And they said, hey, Teddy's fine, but we did find something. And it's so rare. We don't have anybody in our database that we can even connect you with. But here's what it is. There's some research out there, some publishings, but it's very rare. And I was like, great.
Was the diagnosis, did it come with any sort of piece that you at least had an answer, or was it just leading to more questions?
I think as a parent, you go through a myriad of, different feelings and emotions. You don't want anything to be wrong with your child. Then it's almost like internal bargaining. All right, well, at least it's not this, at least it's not that. But at the end of the day, knowledge is power. And I think getting that answer then you're like, all right, let's like an onion, let's peel away at this. Like, let's get some answers. At least you had a direction, a trajectory to go on, you know?
Yeah, that path forward can at least give you some piece of progress,
Right.
right?
And I guess in addition to that, having a path forward and then finding out that there's for it to be so rare and that there's already been so much research and work done that we weren't like starting from scratch. That was gave me a lot of peace of mind that there are other people out there that, you know, are already 20 steps ahead of me and I can just like contact them and how did you handle this? You know, what was your first step and, you know, different things like that. So that I think gave me a lot of peace.
What has been the biggest challenge with this diagnosis?
That's a good question. I think not knowing what his quality of life is going to be when he's older and like will he need to live at home forever? Like should I be in that headspace? And I think like every quarter I've set this is a long way of answering your question, but just stay with me. Every quarter I kind of set internal milestones to just like check in with myself and like recalibrate, like, are we doing the right thing? Are we, you know, where are we? Like a status check to see, you know, or should we try this therapy? Should we try this medication? Have we reached out to this doctor? And I think just like constantly recalibrating that, it helps me keep a pulse on where he is because it's like, I don't want to put my expectations onto him. Like, you know, you've got to be out of the house at 18. Like, you've got to go to college. Like, I don't want to put that on him. But I think that part for me, especially being a person of type A personality and wanting to plan as much as possible. And, you know, you can't with this. And you truly have to just take it one day at a time.
Yeah. If someone received this diagnosis today for their son or their daughter, what would be the number one thing that you would tell them?
It's hard. And I think surrounding yourself with good people and good people as in your, you know, family, loved ones, obviously, but also like create a team for your family with your therapist, with doctors. And I have a group chat that I keep all of them in and like I'll send updates to them. So like everybody's in the loop. Teddy has aides as well. They're doctoral students at USC in the PT program. And so like I have a group chat for each one of my like teams to keep them informed. And I think that really has helped us like stay in lockstep, and like be dot connectors, you know, and I'll be very transparent with them and say, I have no idea what I'm doing. So like, if you see a blind spot or you have a recommendation, like, please tell me because like, I want you to feel empowered to speak up. Like you guys are experts here. So I think just like humbling yourself and don't be embarrassed to say like, you know, hey, like, please let me know any tips you have. Because we don't know what we don't know. That would a roundabout way. That's like what I would say to somebody, just build a team, and just be transparent, about it and constantly like keep recalibrating every, you know, 4 to 6 months to see like, should we make changes somewhere? Because, you know, you want to keep things on cruise control for as long as you can, but there needs to be some check-ins to see if you're still on the right track.
Yeah. To finish off, what do you think the value is of community?
It's huge. I think as human beings, we're programmed for relationships and, you know, with good relationships, you build community and fellowship with people. And I think that is a lifeline to family members in this community of medically complex children. Like, you've got to have community, or yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing Teddy's story. Thank you for being here, Brittany.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to share just about this journey that you've been on, if anyone else is going through it? Anything at all?
No, I think that's it.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.